Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Gonna be giving you my starting 11 prediction for our game against Fulham. So like I mentioned on the preview, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to make changes from the 0-0 draw with Liverpool. And I did mention he will rest some key players. So I think he's going to go with David De Gea in goal. David De Gea is now getting back to his best. A few years ago, he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world, and he's going to remain our number one for at least this season. This is his 10th season at Manchester United, so he has been a long servant. David De Gea didn't really have much to do in the 0-0 draw with Liverpool, but he produced a very good save to deny Thiago. At right back, I think we're going to go with Wan-Bissaka. I thought he put a good defensive performance out against Liverpool. I think he got forward well at times as well. But, you know, we do have concerns about Wan-Bissaka's lack of attacking intent and his distribution. The two centre-halves, I think it's going to be Eric Bailly and Harry Maguire. I'm actually surprised that Eric Bailly didn't play against Liverpool. We actually went with Lindelof instead. To Lindelof's credit, though, he put a very good performance out against Liverpool. Good defensively. Made some good blocks and also made some very, very good clearances. But I still prefer Bailly ahead of Lindelof. My only element of concern about Bailly is that he's injury prone. Just come back from a neck injury not so long ago. But there again, Lindelof just come back from a back injury. Solskjaer explained why he actually went with Lindelof instead of Bailly against Liverpool. Because he mentioned that Lindelof was preparing for the Liverpool game all week. But yeah, so since Bailly started playing again, he's done very, very well. You know, he showed that ability to play out from the back. He's been effective in the air at times. He's made some very good interceptions. Harry Maguire, I've also been very, very impressed with him. Again, put a good defensive performance out against Liverpool. Did make one or two mistakes, but prior to that he did very, very well. Good to see Harry Maguire bounce back from his early season troubles, because he did have that incident in Greece before the start of the season. Despite his good performances in a lot of games this season, he's still not worth the £80 million that we got him for from Leicester. Harry Maguire is our current captain. I did say on the preview he might be dropped, but there again, no, he probably won't be dropped, to be honest with you. But don't forget, he's one yellow card away from a ban. At left back, I think we are going to go with Alex Telles. Alex Telles needs to get given a chance. Alex Telles hasn't really played a lot since we recommended him in. He's obviously played some games. You know, when he has played, he has got forward well. He's got into decent positions and he's put some good crosses into the box. But don't forget, he did have COVID at one point. Actually, Luke Shaw does remain our first choice left back. You know, Luke Shaw put an exceptional performance out against Liverpool. Defensively, very, very good. He had Salah in his pocket. He got forward very, very well. I think set up one of the chances. My only element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he is injury prone. Just come back from injury not so long ago. He had a couple of periods out with injury last season. But yeah, I think we'll drop Luke Shaw for this one because I think he's one yellow card away from a ban. So I think we're going to go with Telles instead. Now, in that midfield, I think we're going to go with Paul Pogba and Scott McTominay. Paul Pogba needs to start this game against Fulham because to Paul Pogba's credit, he has done very, very well since he come back from that ankle injury that he had earlier on in the season. He was also out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury, and he had a minor injury not so long ago. Paul Pogba did play in the game against Liverpool. Obviously, he was in more of an advanced role. Enjoyed a pretty good game. Obviously, had that big chance for us, but didn't convert it. But he did produce a fantastic save from Allenson. Don't forget, Paul Pogba gave an interview prior to the game against Liverpool, and he made an admission saying that, we're not on Liverpool's level as yet, but he says we can still win the Premier League title. And he was talking about his frustration of when he's been on the bench at Man United. Paul Pogba could still leave the football club in the summer. Fabrizio Romano, who's a reliable Italian journalist, and he's obviously close to Man United, he said that Paul Pogba will leave in the summer, providing an agreement is reached. He does mention that Juventus are preparing to make a move for him in the summer. They hope that we'd be open to a player plus cash deal. Don't forget, Juventus have already offered us Aaron Ramsey as part of a swap deal for Pogba, who rejected it. They also offered us Douglas Costa as part of a swap deal for Pogba and rejected it. Towards the end of last year, I think it said they was willing to offer us either Federico Bernardeschi or Paulo Dybala in exchange. But he said in this January transfer window anyway that Juventus were only willing to pay £50 million. Pogba's also been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. Paul Pogba's agent Mini Oriola was talking with PSG not so long ago, because it mentioned that Pochettino's identified Pogba as his top target. Barcelona and Inter Milan have been in for him before, so he has had a long-running transfer saga. We have revealed our asking price. We want £75 million for him. That's what it said the other week. Earlier on this season, we triggered that one-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. We've come to accept he won't be signing a long-term contract at the club. And as it stands at the moment, he is our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Oriola, don't forget, told Tuttosport last month that his client's career at Man United is over. He said he's unhappy and he has to leave and he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. Obviously, Solskjaer was furious with Mini Oriola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig. So yeah, I think Pogba will start this game. And Pogba must be freed up. Scott McTominay, I think he's enjoyed some good games this season. He's also enjoyed bad games as a Man United player. His best game in a Man United shirt was the 6-2 win against Leeds, because he scored 2 goals in that game and he got an assist. And he did well in the 1-0 win against Watford in the FA Cup third round. Scored in the 5th minute of that game. Was it just after the first lockdown? He signed a 5-year contract with Man United. But he has been part of the club for several years. I think ahead of them two, we will go with Donny van de Beek. I think Donny van de Beek needs to be given a chance. If he starts this game against Fulham, it will be his 3rd start in the Premier League. He's only started 2 games in the league so far this season, and that was West Ham and Southampton. So he seldom starts in the Premier League. Most of his appearances have come from the substitutes bench. He's been getting more opportunities in the cup games. Solskjaer was talking about Donny van de Beek a few weeks ago, and he insists that he has a bright future at Man United. And he tips him to emulate Fred and Lindelof by succeeding at the football club. So I think he'll go in that number 10, but Van der Beek can play in 3 different roles. You can put him as a box-to-box midfielder. That was his predominant position at Ajax. You can put him in the number 10 and you can also put him out wide. When he plays, though, he's a very good player. So Solskjaer needs to play him more. We got him in a deal worth £40 million. we paid £35 million for him up front, and there was £5 million in add-ons. I think Van der Beek's under contract with the football club until 2025. Now, I think on that left-hand side, we are going to go with Marcus Rashford. Obviously, Marcus Rashford did play against Liverpool. I don't think he was that good against Liverpool. He was fairly quiet in the game. You know, he was caught offside far too many times. But, you know, Rashford has improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. You know, sometimes we play him out wide and sometimes we play him centrally. But I think he's actually more effective out wide. I think on the right-hand side, we are going to go with Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood hasn't really played a lot this season, but don't forget, Solskjaer's been defending Greenwood a lot this season. This is his second season I've seen his squad. Don't forget, earlier on in the season, Greenwood had personal issues. He also had injury at one point, and he was out with illness. At the start of this season, we give him that number 11 shirt. And up top, I think we are going to go with Edison Cavani. Edison Cavani didn't start against Liverpool, but he came on. I think Edison Cavani has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Not so long ago, he was serving a 3-match ban because he did get sent off. He had a 3-match ban with a racist comment that he'd put on social media last month. Obviously, Solskjaer confirmed that he apologised in that. Solskjaer was talking about Cavani earlier on this season, saying that, you know, he's definitely a starter for Man United. He said, we're looking to extend his contract. And Solskjaer revealed the first thing that Edison Cavani asked him when he came in, and that's whether he could wear the number 7 shirt. Yeah, we got him on a free transfer on deadline day last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a 2nd year. So that's how I think Man United could line up against Fulham on Wednesday night. So I don't think Martial's going to start. I think Fernandes will be dropped. Fernandes needs a rest anyway because, to be honest with you, we have been overplaying Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes did play against Liverpool, was quiet. He did have his chances. Had that chance from the free kick, just went wide. Had that great chance. Alisson produced a very, very good save. But in most of Bruno Fernandes' games, he has been very, very consistent. There's only been the odd couple of games where he has looked off the pace. He's been at the club now for almost a year. You know, he won Player of the Month for December, but he's won that now quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. But certainly our best player, and he's the best signing we have made since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Like I said, I don't think Fred will start this game. Luke Shaw, I don't think he'll start this game, despite him being good recently. And I don't think Victor Lindelof will. Like I said to you on the preview, we should be beating Fulham easily. Fulham are relegation fodder. They are sitting 18th in the Premier League. They obviously lost their last game to Chelsea 1-0. The last time we played Fulham was almost 2 years ago. We beaten them 3-0 at Craven Cottage. That was back in February 2019. Fulham's current manager is Scott Parker. He's been Fulham manager now for around 20 months. So he's been Fulham manager now for almost 2 years. Like I said to you, I do know a few of Fulham's players. Obviously, one of their key players is that Lookman. They've also got Kamara. They've got that Mitrovic. He's out of injury at the moment, but it said, you know, he could be in contention to play. They've also got that Robinson. Now, Robinson's not available for this game because he's suspended. They've got that Bobby Reid. I think he's suspended as well. They've got Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Don't forget, they got him on loan from Chelsea. He didn't play against Chelsea, you know, because it's obviously his parent club. So should be in contention to play this one. Fulham have also got Mario Lemina. I think they got him from Southampton. He's actually out with injury. They've got Congolo. He's currently out with injury at the moment. They've got Cavallero of Fulham. They've also got that Anderson. So, there you go. And they've also got that Joe Bryan. To be fair to Fulham, they've done quite well since, you know, they got that 1-1 draw with Liverpool. But I still think, you know, they are going to go back down. Now, obviously, we are still top of the league. We're top of the league by 2 points. Obviously, City could go top. You know, well, City will go top if they do beat Aston Villa. I think, you know, they do play before us. We've been very, very good away from home in the Premier League. Like I've said, we haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for almost a year. And that's a very, very good record. And, you know, we have got a good record against Fulham. You know, Fulham are winless in their last 11 league meetings with us. And we are unbeaten in our last 12 Premier League games. I think the last league game we lost was to Arsenal 1-0 back in November. Now, we recently drew with Liverpool 0-0 at Anfield. You know, Solskjaer gave his perception on that game. You know, he did say he was disappointed because obviously it was a missed opportunity because we could have gone 6 points clear of Liverpool and that would have put us in more of a commanding position. And he admits we lacked that composure. But we'd have been happier with the point than Liverpool. You know, from Liverpool perspective, you know, they would have been disappointed. You know, Liverpool are in a bad vein of form at the moment. You know, they are winless now in their last 4 league games. It's the first time since 2005 that Liverpool have failed to score in 3 straight league games. But the good news is, from a Liverpool perspective, is that they still remain unbeaten at Anfield in the Premier League since April 2017. So I think Liverpool are now unbeaten in 68 Premier League games at Anfield. But like I said, you know, Liverpool dominated the possession in that. You know, they did have their chances. You know, a lot of their chances were wasteful, but we had better of the chances because we had more clear-cut chances than them. But like I mentioned, I thought defensively we did very, very well. You know, we haven't won at Anfield since 2016. Like I updated you earlier on today, Jurgen Klopp criticised Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics. So Jurgen Klopp obviously didn't like the way Solskjaer set his team out. You know, this is actually, I think, what he told the BBC. It was only a few weeks ago that Klopp was moaning about the amount of penalties that we get, because he did say that we get a penalty like every 3 games. And, you know, Klopp also said that we have had more penalties in, 2 years than he's had in 5.5 years at Liverpool. Obviously, Solskjaer had hit back at what Jurgen Klopp had said. You know, he said maybe it's to influence the referees. But yeah, it would have been much better if we'd have won at Anfield, but, you know, a draw's not the worst result in the world, you know, because Solskjaer made an admission about Liverpool prior to the game. He did say that, you know, they have been the best team in England for the past 18 months, and they have been great for the last 3 years. But he admitted that we was the underdogs going into that game. You know, we've got Liverpool obviously at the weekend in the FA Cup 4th round. Really looking forward to that one. That's at Old Trafford. I think we've got a good chance of beating them at Old Trafford. You know, we haven't been great at Old Trafford this season. I think we've only won like 6 games at Old Trafford in all competitions this season. But Liverpool's record at Old Trafford is poor. I think they've only beaten us a couple of times at Old Trafford in the past, 10 or 11 years. But it'd be interesting to see how both teams approach that game. You know, will both teams go with a weakened squad? Or will both teams go with a strong squad? Or will both teams go with a mixture? You know, some strong players and some big names and some, you know, weak names. We've won the FA Cup 12 times, so we are the second most successful team in FA Cup history. And Liverpool, I think, have won it around 7 or 8 times, but Liverpool haven't won it since 2006. Our next league game after Fulham, Sheffield United, that's another game that we should be winning. Then after that, it's Arsenal, and that's going to be a tough game. But yeah, I think Man United can win the Premier League this season. If we don't win it this season, we'll win another Premier League title at some point. You know, if we do win the Premier League, it will be our 21st title overall. And it'll be our first Premier League title since 2013. There's 3 trophies that we can pursue this season. You know, we can win the Premier League, we can win the FA Cup, win into the 4th round, and we can also win the Europa League. And it's very imperative that we get our first trophy on the board under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, because we've not yet won a trophy under him. And we haven't won a trophy for just over 4 years. But Solskjaer's made good progress in the last year or so. Obviously, he's the first Man United manager to get us top of the Premier League table at this stage of the season since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. You know, he got us to the EFL Cup semi-final earlier on in the season. Obviously, we lost that against Manchester City 2-0. His decision-making is starting to be very good now. There has been a lot of games where he's been tactically naive, but there has been some games where he's showed tactical flexibility. But like I said, his decision-making has got to be good persistently. You know, despite our reluctance to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with transfers and that, I still think he has made good signings since he got appointed in as Man United manager. He's spent over £200 million at the club. Obviously, this January transfer window is his 5th transfer window as Manchester United manager. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's already given us an update on our January transfer plans. He did say that January signings are unlikely. It's not long now till the January transfer window shuts. Is it around 2 weeks? Or just under 2 weeks? But he admits that further more players could leave in this January transfer window. Now, don't forget, Timothy Fosu-Mensah recently left the club. Don't forget, Ole has already confirmed that Sergio Romero and Marcus Rojo are free to leave in this January window because he says their contracts won't be extended. Will Jones leave in this January window? Will Jesse Lingard leave in this January window? Solskjaer's in disagreement over Lingard's future. I think he recently said that he wants Lingard to stay at the club for this month, despite him losing his place in the team a while back. I think Odion Ighalo will leave. His loan expires at the end of this month. There's obviously been rumours of Daniel James going out on loan, and you know, there's been rumours of Brandon Williams going out on loan. Like I said, and more players will leave Man United in the summer. We've already seen a lot of players depart the club since Solskjaer got recommended in. And Solskjaer did well last season in his first full season at the club. But I can't believe how much Solskjaer's turned a corner, because earlier on in the season, a lot of Manchester United fans, including me, were demanding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of the club because we was very, very critical of him. How inconsistent we was earlier on in the season, but reflecting how good we have been in recent months, a lot of United fans' perceptions have started to change on him, including me as well. And I was saying a lot earlier on in the season, you know, he hasn't got that proven pedigree as a manager, which he hasn't. You know, he's out of his depth at the club. But reflecting how long Solskjaer's been at Man United, he has gained managerial experience. You know, he's learned quite a bit. Probably there's still things on the job he has got to learn. But to say he's not a manager at the top level, he has done well. Solskjaer's been Man United manager now for over 2 years. And this is his second full season at the club. Solskjaer's going to be given at least another season at Manchester United. If he does win the Premier League with us this season, he's definitely the long-term manager. But, you know, he could have easily been sacked, Solskjaer, because we have endured bad periods under him. And don't forget, when Solskjaer was under pressure, Mauricio Pochettino was the favourite to replace him. Pochettino was the favourite to take over at the club after Jose Mourinho got sacked. But Pochettino's now out of the equation because he's PSG's manager now. I think he recently won his first trophy with PSG. But we do deserve credit for sticking with him. But like I've said to you, with Solskjaer being a club legend, our board have a soft stance on him. But like I say, there has been a lot of players on our agenda. I've already given you the news on Daya Upamecano. I've already given you the news on Declan Rice. I've already given you the news on Jadon Sancho. I gave you the news on Max Aarons the other week. I think we are looking to make around 4 signings this year to complete our squad overhaul. Like I've said, you know, Solskjaer does deserve more backing at the club because I think all the transfer windows he's endured so far hasn't really been backed enough, and Woodward has promised that he will back Solskjaer. He did say towards the end of last year that he will back him with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. So yeah. But, you know, even if we had attacked Solskjaer earlier on in the season when we was inconsistent, you know, it wouldn't have solved anything anyway. Because, you know, not all the blame stemmed from him when we was inconsistent. You know, there was obviously certain players that had to take responsibility. Not all of the blame stems from the manager. But we're not known as a sacking club. You know, we've already sacked 3 managers since Ferguson left. And that was Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. And we haven't only sacked 3 managers since Ferguson left. We've spent over £1 billion on players since Ferguson left. And we must have brought around, 36, 37 players in. A lot of them players we've brought in since Fergie left haven't been the right calibre players for Man United. But, you know, we have made quite a few mistakes since Ferguson left. And that's probably one of the main explanations why we have been inconsistent in all the managerial eras. Up until this point, obviously. But, you know, you can say Solskjaer starting to bring the old Man United back. Because if you've noticed, you know, we've come from behind in a lot of games this season, especially away from home. Performances are starting to improve. Players have improved. Don't get me wrong, you know, no one's going to replicate Sir Alex Ferguson's legacy at the club, and no one's going to last as long as he did. You know, Ferguson endured 27 years at Man United and won a total of 38 major honours, but he didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club, Sir Alex Ferguson. Yeah. But Solskjaer knew when he got appointed in that it was going to be a massive job, despite him, you know, knowing the culture of the club. He knew he had a lot to do when he got appointed in as Man United manager, and he's done some things well. You know, he's brought, obviously, players in. You know, he's got rid of players. Do you think he still needs to identify his best 11? Do you think he needs to select the right formation? You know, he has tried quite a few different formations since he got appointed in. So, yeah. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop me comments, like, explore on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.